This is Filling the Gap.
Boom, 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 boom. Filling the gap.
We're what?
We're in the car.
We're in the car.
We're literally in the car.
We're doing something different.
Right.
Yeah. Different feel. I
We
like
got
this
talks
vibe.
in the car.
Yeah.
I feel like I can get more comfortable. I feel like I just put my leg up and just chill.
Better scenery. Get this, shoot the breeze. And we wanted to bring something different. We just got off of celebrating Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving again to everybody. We know we've been just chilling, just enjoying our family.
Right.
And getting ready for 2024. But now we're coming up on Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is around the corner.
You excited?
I am excited.
What I'm getting?
You're going to find out. Everybody's going to find out when the day come. When the day come.
Listen, if you want to give us something or sow something into, the Filling the Gap podcast or to Malik or myself, what can they reach you at?
Malik_Brookins.
And Clarence, I think it's _Brookins, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us on our platforms. Listen,
boxes, all of it.
I need y'all to help me get my TikTok numbers up.
Right.
I want to go live on TikTok, but I need 1,000 followers.
So if y'all watching this, go follow him on TikTok.
Come follow me. Help me get to that number so we can do. I want to do some battles and do some things too.
Do some battles and go lives and whatnot.
Yeah. That's helping to fill the gap.
Right.
Coming together so I can, stay connected. Stay connected.
Right. Stay connected.
Yeah.
As long as possible.
That's it.
That is hilarious.
And again, for those that's on here, thank you for the love. Thank you for the shout out. Continue to support us on all platforms. And today we want to talk about, what we're thankful for.
Right.
We, experienced a lot throughout this year. Many of you have as well. But I think just being grateful, and I think this is a good topic to talk about because I think there's a disparity between generations when it comes to understanding what to really be thankful for.
Right.
And as we get into Christmas, man, there were times where there were certain things I was looking for under the Christmas tree I didn't get. And I was mad. Have you ever experienced that?
I feel like I have, growing up, I feel like everyone has, experienced something where it's like, oh, I really wanted this, hoping you'd get it, but you didn't get it. That's everybody has gone through something like that.
Yeah, so the question is, were you still thankful for what you got?
Right.
And
right.
I think that sometimes as we get older, we forget to just be thankful, for the things that we have every day.
Right.
Like you had a bed, you had a pillow, you had soap and water, you had lights, you had heat, and sometimes we can get so consumed, I think, by social media and what our friends have that we feel that we have to have that just because.
Right.
And there been times, I ain't gonna throw none of my kids under the bus, but there's been times where I would buy some stuff.
It definitely ain't me.
And
so y'all know who you talking about.
Get some stuff and it'd be like, dang, what you're not gonna do nothing with it, or you don't never wear, you never put it on, you never do nothing with, so, hey.
You don't want to say no names.
But that I think that's important, so, hey, hit us up. Let us know if you got any stories that you want to share with us as far as things you took for granted or even things you were thankful for over the years. Reach out to us. Let us know as well.
Do I got a story? I'm trying to think in my head.
But I think growing up, I was always taught to be thankful and grateful, even to the point where we always say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Right.
But I think as I got older in my teens, then I began to realize, hey, my friend got those shoes on. Why I ain't got those shoes?
Right.
Or, dang, they living like that. Why I ain't living like that?
Right.
Or they got money like that. Why I ain't got money like that? So when people started pointing out to me that I was shopping that I didn't have the finer things, I'll say that.
Right.
I didn't have the name brands, My parents, I love y'all. Shout out to my parents in Chi-Town. They did phenomenal. They did everything to make us have a comfortable lifestyle.
Right.
But as I got older, I understood that my lifestyle did not always include the name brands
that
other people had. I don't ever remember being, growing up with Jordan's on or Air Force One. But now y'all get Air Force Ones and Jordans like it's water.
Right.
I
I feel like from being younger, you have like this mentality of like, okay, this is what I want, and I know I'm gonna get it, and you get it,
Right.
right? And then when you get a little bit older, like teenager, it's like, okay, this is some of the stuff that I want. You may get it, you may not get it, because it's just like you're just getting older.
Right.
But I feel like once you get to like my age, like the 20s, the 20s and up, you're just like, bro, I'm cool with family. Like,
Right.
you don't really need to give me. I like the stuff that you really can't buy.
Mhm.
Like now, which is the most important. Like the stuff that money can't buy is what makes you like really the happiest. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like we could get as many shoes, as many clothes, as many whatever there is out there as possible. But like that will never fill the void of like, we got time to watch a movie, sit down and hang with family, all throwing PJs and stuff like that. And it's like that stuff is like what I'm realizing is, very important. It was like the most important thing when it comes to like the holidays, especially like Thanksgiving. It's just like we all could just sit around the couch, play a game or two. You know what I mean?
Right.
The same for Christmas.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is it has to be instilled or embedded, in people, especially as young people. Because the word says, train up a child in where they should go when they won't depart. So part of it has to be taught, part has to be trained, part of it has to be cultivated in your environment.
Right.
Not only just to be thankful, but to be thankful for the right things. And then the things you don't get, you're not upset or mad at your parents or other people because you don't have it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that has to be instilled more because, we can give, and if not appreciative, it's like entitlement.
Right. Right.
Oh, I had this on my wish list or my Christmas list. I didn't get this, but I got that, but I'd rather have had this. And then when you open up your presents, like, okay, I am grateful, but I'm really not.
Right.
Not knowing what parents have to go through or people have to go through to sacrifice to buy whatever or to get whatever they feel
Right.
is best for the child.
Right.
Or not even just the child, just each other. Because we could have coworkers we buy stuff for, or people in the church, or other family members. And, it's what's on our heart to give, and
Right.
people always say it's the thought that counts.
Right.
But it's getting so crazy nowadays that people don't even care about your thought.
Nah. it didn't matter if you even thought about them.
No.
Like, I remember one time, this person won't be named. One of your kids. It could be natural. It could be spiritual. We just gonna leave it out there. They got plenty of spiritual kids.
Yeah.
Natural kids as well.
No, we got two natural.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Two is
I ain't got no other kids out there.
Two is plentiful.
We ain't got no other kids out there. We
Two
got
is a plentiful
two
number.
biological, and we got a lot of spiritual kids.
Right.
Spiritual children.
Right.
Out here as well. So okay.
There was one year that I got one of the children a gift, but the person was not appreciative of this gift.
Oh man.
I think said person was, but he took off the glass.
I got a tear in my eye. I think it may be allergies, but I just want to make sure before we go down this road.
But I remember.
Okay.
I remember. I was like, after that moment, I was like, I am not buying anything else for said person because that person was not appreciative.
Well, I'm glad that you found yourself having a safe place to share that information.
Right.
And that's good for everybody to know. You got to have someone you can trust that when you're sharing in confidence that it's a safe place for you. So thankful to all those out there
Community.
Community, that you have someone you can talk to, and thank you for being a person that someone can share. So we're grateful for that.
Right.
That moment. And it's good to have somebody you can release something to.
Right.
Release it to. And that's one of the reasons, too, where we talked about, when you put your heart into giving someone something or doing something, that sometimes it's not reciprocal in the appreciation because of a person's mindset, which, like you said, can make or break if you're going to give them something else moving forward.
Right.
Because if a person is not grateful or have a spirit of gratitude, it makes it challenging wanting to give them anything because they're not going to receive it.
Right.
And, We pray that this season doesn't go that way for those that's watching, and getting ready for things. We're getting ready for Christmas. And even going to the new year, because like you were saying, as you get older, you're more appreciative, and you pretty much are just thankful for life.
Right.
So much is going on nowadays that we take that for granted. We take life for granted. We take this day for granted, to be able to see for granted. So when it comes to materialistic things or buying gifts, and that's all good and dandy. It serves a purpose for a moment. But I think in the long run, we have to get better at just loving each other and be thankful that we still can do life together.
Right. And I think that's important. Doing life together with the people that you love is something that no money can buy. Like I was saying before, just the memories. Like the stuff, like when we come here and do this podcast, this is like stuff that, you can't, buy the joy, that we get from like, doing activities together, whether it's like, you and mom or you and Mel or all of us together.
Right.
It's just like, you can't buy those moments. Like when we go to dinner and we go do this, but it's like, knowing and being appreciative of like everything.
Yeah, just like, the other night we all went out to eat, or a week before we went to, go to Magic Kingdom. Just taking advantage of being thankful for the moment.
Right.
And sometimes we get so beside ourselves that we're not thankful for the moment, and then we don't want to live a life of regret. We get so busy, or we're so consumed of self-righteousness or self-pride that we're taking advantage of the moment and being upset of things that we want. That the word says that life is but a vapor.
Right.
So we're allowing precious moments to go past because we're upset. We didn't get our way. We're upset we didn't get the new shoes. We're upset we didn't get the new phone. But ain't nobody working. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People not working, but you want a phone. You live in a house scot-free, but you don't have the new hoodie. Be thankful that, parents are working and doing what they need to do to make sure you are going to be as successful as you need to be.
But I feel like because of the whole thing of Santa Claus, it takes away of like the realization of like, this is a parent who's actually working really hard to provide for their children. But this whole world ideology of like Santa Claus is like, oh, this guy is just gonna drop toys at your house.
Man.
And it's like, I feel like you got a whole spiel about Santa Claus.
I was traumatized as a kid growing up. My parents had me believing in Santa Claus, y'all, for real. When I was a little kid, I was writing letters to a man that did not exist.
Not the letters.
I was sitting down writing letters and taking to mailboxes, for real. I did everything. Put it in an envelope, everything.
North Pole.
I'm like, and then what finally broke the camel's back is that one day my parents weren't home. I was young. I was probably maybe like 10 or about 11 or 12, about 10 or 11 years old. Me and my sister was going through the house playing hide and seek and stuff. Lo and behold, it's right before Christmas. Went in my parents' bedroom, right? All the toys was in their closet, just stacked in bags and bags, and we looking like they Santa Claus, So it was like, wait a minute, ain't no real Santa Claus. And my parents at that time, they knew we knew. And at that point, they just told us the truth, And I was like, man, why they could just do that from the beginning,
right?
Our parents were our Santa Claus, but in reality, because of us as believers, there is no Santa Claus. We celebrate Christ, his birthday. So yeah, that was a traumatizing experience that I'm thankful I went through. That I now know the truth.
Right. I was like.
That's one thing we tried our best not to allow that to attach to you all. No,
right.
No, we're not going that route.
Because I remember when we was growing up, I think it was like one Christmas morning, y'all just was just like, hey, we bought all this, and then that was it. Y'all just like, yeah, we bought all this. Santa Claus ain't real, and then I think that was it. I think I got like an Xbox 360 when it first came out or something like that. I think that was it.
Yeah. I think the first thing you forgot before that was even the Nintendo when it was hot. When you was real young, the Nintendo. Because we was always playing, what's that, Mike Tyson Punch Out, something like that. So, yeah.
We had the Sega.
Oh, the Sega Genesis. Yeah.
Then we went to like I remember we had the PlayStation 2 for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, man. Yeah. So, man, just thankful of the memories, thankful of what we were able to do. And sometimes, and I'm going to throw this out there, because we're talking about the different generations, one thing that my mom always used to do that I was so grateful for was that every morning she always made sure we had a hot meal. Every day they made sure that the necessities were there for us.
Right.
And we didn't know we didn't have certain things because we always had something to put on.
Right.
You know, or something. So that is so important because those, you know, habits helped us to plant those in you all. You know, those were the good and the positive, you know, traditions or character traits that you guys have because we continue that same, you know, make your bed up, brush your teeth, everything else.
Right.
Be thankful that you have this. Be grateful for that because those principles have to be instilled. If you don't train a child to be thankful or grateful or appreciative of what they do have, they're going to always think that what you give them is never good enough.
Right.
Never good enough. And then they won't be appreciative of it because of social media. And that's one thing I'm thankful for, that growing up, we didn't have social media like you guys have it now, because back then, you know, we didn't have only thing that started to come out in my day and age, and I'm probably going to tell a bit of it, was MTV rap. That's when MTV started coming up, being popular. That was before BET and BET hip hop and rap and all that.
Right.
MTV rap or MTV was just beginning to blow up back in the 80s, and we didn't have it as there was no explicit stuff back then.
Right.
Now everything is explicit. Everything is this and that, and it's like, so I'm thankful and grateful for how we were brought up because we didn't get exposed
Right.
to all the stuff in the world that will cause a person not to be grateful.
Right. I feel like because of so much exposure to social media and so many other things, it's like that's what we talk about all the time, but it leads to comparison.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you can't be thankful or enjoy what you have because you're looking at what somebody else got. And it's like, well, what they got wasn't really meant for you, but it's like you have to be okay with the cards you were dealt. It's basically everything that we always talk about is like, you know, one, being secure in your identity, and it's like, okay, this is the cards that I was dealt. This is who I am. This is what it is. And I'm going, you know, like Mom always say, like, use what's in your hands,
Right.
and be great. You know,
Right.
like if you grew up like wearing like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, JC Penney's, like I was with my grandma all the time. Y'all know, grandma shopping in there every single day. Like if that's like what you grew up on, it's like, you know, changing like your mentality and your perspective of like, if this is what I have, how can I make this the flyest, best thing ever? You know, I feel like that's my mentality now with everything that I do. But like growing up, it was really hard to like understand that because you're put in the same kind of category as everybody else. So you really kind of don't see how you differ from anyone because you don't know really who you are and like what you're capable of until you're like thrown into those situations or start, you know, thinking differently. So if there's any young people out there who are watching these who are, you know, maybe struggling with identity or, you know, comparison or feeling like you don't really have enough, you know, I recommend you or just, you know, say, you know, try to change your perspective on your view of things, which will help you, you know, get a clearer idea of like, oh no, this is me and I can do this and I can rock this and I can be this way and it's okay, you know, and not feel like you're going to be judged by, you know, people who may not understand who you are or what you do.
Yeah. I think that's very, very important, very powerful. I also think too that I'm trying to see how I can word this, that if you are a product of your environment, right, then your environment should continue to change because of your product.
Right.
Because, you know, I look at it like at a bottle of wine. You know, a bottle of wine can have been made in California, but it's being shipped to Florida, but somebody may not open it right away because it needs time to mature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's part of the problem too, is that, yeah, you're raised a certain way, you experience certain things, but over time, as your mind change, your mindset change, your environment change, you begin to value and appreciate what you've gone through for where you're going.
Right.
And it goes back to, and we're going to go there, one of my favorite stories is with Joseph in the Bible. You know, he had to be thankful for every circumstance he was dealt because it was only positioning him for greatness.
Right.
And sometimes we forget that. We're so busy complaining that we're not grateful or thankful that I was in a pit. All right, confirmation. Thankful that he mad.
Sometimes the mics don't pick it up. I don't know if they can hear it.
I don't know, but that bruh man is mad.
Nah, he slammed that garbage.
Yes, he don't want to do that job today.
Right.
But and he, thankful for the pit, thankful that he was accused.
Yeah.
He lied on. Thankful he went to prison. So we have to remember that if favor is on you, if your mindset is to get to the dreams that you've been dreaming by any means necessary, you have to understand that everything you go through is part of that process.
Right.
So be thankful for the process. And a lot of times I think that many people are not thankful for the process.
Mm-hmm. The process is important. Because I would hate to go through a process and you not get the lesson that you're supposed to learn. Then you got to repeat the process again. And it's like you keep going through these same old cycles and these same things. And God is like, I want you to get this attribute or this character development, or I need you to learn this. But it's like you're so stuck in your own ways, and you're like, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to figure it out. And you really never learn. So then you got to do it over again. And I'm like, that would be sickening. That would be so sickening if I'm like, I have to go through all this again or multiple times because of my disobedience and not wanting to, let go and like really, dig deep in the season that I'm in right now.
And part of it is, and I said all the time when I mentor a lot of young people, is that you have to check your heart.
Right.
So when you're talking about being grateful and thankful and going through the process, if your heart is right, you're going to pass the process.
Mm-hmm.
If your heart is on point and you understand why you've been chosen, why you're going through, why you were, like Jeremiah 1:5, why you were placed in that family, why you were placed in that struggle, and appreciate and value that, to learn from that, then you will be so grateful and thankful that you were chosen. I think part of our challenge is just being thankful that you were chosen to go through what you're going through.
Right.
Because there's a testimony and a story coming out of that because of who you are.
Right.
And part of the challenge is many people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So they're complaining about every situation and not being thankful for it, because if they knew who they were, they would be appreciative that they were chosen for it.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
Being appreciative that you were chosen for it. Because, like, even in seasons that I go through, I'm always like, it's okay because God entrusted me with this, right? Because we always think about, like, Job. Because, God was like, have you tried Job to the enemy in heaven? Which is basically saying, I trust Job with this assignment because I know, devil, he's going to make you look stupid, right? So it's just like knowing that God has entrusted you with said struggle, whatever it may be, to like, he did it because he knows you can make it on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like really important, knowing that God has, trusted us with this.
Yeah, definitely. Well, before we end it, let me ask you, what are 3 things that you're thankful for?
Thankful for family, community, and just a good, I don't know, this is the third one that came to my mind, and just a good moral compass. Like, these are the things that God has before me, he's called me to, allowed me to do, operate in humility, patience, and just those many things, that he has given me. So definitely those 3.
Okay.
What about you?
I definitely would say number 1 is family. With you, Mel, definitely your mom, of course. That's part of the existence and what we do.
Right.
Business wise and for each other. So number 1, family. Man, I got a long list.
I know I had a long one too, but I was just like, let me just.
But number 2, thankful for grace. His unmerited favor.
Right.
Because many times I shouldn't even be alive. Many times I shouldn't even be where I am. But it's his grace and his mercy,
Right.
and it's that favor, because he knows there's an assignment and work that he's placed me here to do. So number 1, family. Number 2, grace. Number 3, thankful for life, because didn't have to be here.
Right.
Didn't have to wake up, didn't have to have the strength I have, didn't have to have the mind I have, or the air we breathe, and just like, okay, I woke up today, which means I still have purpose.
Right.
And that I'm grateful because I know a lot of, 40-year-olds that's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So, that alone, speaks volumes, that my living's not in vain.
Right.
So, family, grace, life. Yeah, man, like I said, I can go on and on and on with that
Right.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for joining in to our new kind of vibe. We were just kind of testing something out.
Yeah.
It's like Filling the Gap. Filling the Gap presents Car Talks.
Car talks, I like that.
Car Talks. We just made that up. Because we innovative on the spot.
That's it. We're gonna use that.
Right.
Filling the Gap Car Talks.
Filling the Gap presents Car Talks.
So if you like the car talk, make sure you DM Malik_Brookins, Clarence_Brookins. Reach out to us, follow, like us on YouTube, subscribe. Shout out to us and let us know what you're thankful for.
Right.
Because as we get ready to end this year, we just want to reflect over, our lives this year, and that, man, there's a lot to be thankful for.
It is.
Don't look at don't be negative, don't be a Debbie Downer, but be appreciative that no matter how your circumstance look or your situation may be thankful that you're still here.
Right.
Yeah. So until next time.
Till next time.
Be blessed. Peace.
See y'all.